Central Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and streaming on YouTube.
It is the Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. I'm CJ Baumgartner. That's Corey Tackman. It is the 22nd of May, and it's gotten a little better out there, hopefully, for softball today. We've got a couple softball games on the airwaves this afternoon we want to talk about and get you excited for. Also, Game 2 between the Wolves and the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals is happening. But before we do that, Corey, we got to shout out the good folks at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
Did you know you could win 50,000 FunZone tickets in the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade big ticket giveaway? This is how you need to enter in to win. It's so easy. If you have a FunZone Rewards account already, you're automatically entered, CJ. If you're not a FunZone Rewards member yet, all you need to do is scan the QR code on the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade Facebook page, or, of course, we have it pulled up here when you follow in the Morning Sports Desk along on YouTube. But you scan the QR code, and you do so before May 31st to get your automatic entry. Just make sure you're signed in, logged in, all of that good stuff. It's a big ticket giveaway. It's 50,000 FunZone tickets to one lucky winner. The big ticket giveaway from Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
All right, Corey, a busy day of softball on our Hubbard Radio-Wadena stations today. First, let's start out talking about Wadena Deer Creek versus Roseau. It's a 4-5 matchup. Wolverines are the 4 seed. Rams are the 5. And that game was supposed to be played in Wadena on Tuesday, but it's been a monsoon here in Minnesota throughout the last week. So this game has gotten moved. It's kind of, and the game you're going to talk about with Menahga will be similar. They've kind of moved to a pod almost, and basically on Hawley's side of the bracket, they're the 1 seed. They are going to host all of the games on Thursday, as both teams, as everybody there is going to have to play 2 games in that day. So Wadena Deer Creek versus Roseau, that is in Hawley. It's got a 1:45 pregame and 2:00 first pitch on 101.7 FM and AM920 KWAD. Also streaming online at wadenaradio.com/KWAD. And win or lose, we will have coverage of Wadena Deer Creek in Game 2. If they win, they'll most likely play Hawley. And if they lose, they will go to the elimination bracket, where they would play the loser of Thief River Falls and Hawley in that game. So Wadena Deer Creek will play a game against Roseau, and then either against TRF or Hawley in Game 2. That'll all be in Hawley. We'll have coverage of that all on KWAD. Here's a little tail of the tape for the Wadena Deer Creek Wolverines this season. They are 18-3, 5-3. In Section 8 AA, 12-2 in the Park Region Conference, 10-1 on the road, 0-1 in neutral site games, 8-1 on their home field. Of course, 2 of those losses came to Menahga, 11-1 and 2-1. And then they had a loss to end the season, of the regular season, I should say, 3-1 against Dilworth Glendon Felton, who is the 2 seed in this bracket. Wadena Deer Creek got a 15-2 victory over Crookston on Monday, and now are playing Roseau on Thursday. A little bit about the Rams. They are 15-7 on the season, 9-3 in Section 8 AA, 9-3 in the Agassiz Valley Conference, where they finished at the end of the year, kind of a second place with a 9-3 mark. So by percentage, they lost out to Sacred Heart, who was 8-1 in conference play on the season. Before Roseau, they are also 7-5 on the road, 1-1 in neutral site games, 7-1 on their home field. To end the regular season, Roseau didn't quite have the end of season they wanted to. They finished losing 5 out of their last 6 games, but got a 7-2 win over Barnesville on Monday in Roseau to advance them here to this spot this afternoon. QRF for Roseau sits at 86.1. The QRF for the Wadena Deer Creek Wolverines at this point in the season is My page is kind of slowing down on me here, but for Wadena Deer Creek, they finished with a QRF of 92.8. So this should be a really nice 4-5 matchup here between these two teams in Hawley, and we'll see what happens. If Wadena Deer Creek can win both games, they will play on Thursday. If they win next week, looking at the bracket, if Wadena Deer Creek can win just one game today, they will play on Tuesday afternoon, and all of those neutral site games after this point makes the drive pretty easy for us, Corey, will take place in Menahga for the section.
On the other side of the bracket, we will have on the air the 3 seed in this 8AA tournament. Oh, for Pete's sake, there we go. 3 seed Menahga Braves and the 6 seed East Grand Forks Green Wave. Menahga beat OTC in the opening round 14-6. East Grand beat War Road 4-3 to get to this point of the tournament. And I'm not going to go through the full extended bracket because CJ went through all of it, and the same applies here for Menahga as games progress beyond today's Thursday's games here today. But because of the weather, games got moved to DGF. DGF, the 2 seed on this side of the bracket, and we'll cover them here in just one moment. But it's the 3 seed Menahga versus the 6 seed East Grand Forks with a 2:00 start time. On the other side, it is the 2 seed DGF taking on the 7 seed Park Rapids area. The Rebels had a bye to get to today. Park Rapids area, the 7 seed, knocking out the 10 seed Perham by a score of 14-7. So much like CJ said, the winners of DGF and Park Rapids area and Menahga versus East Grand Forks will play each other at 4 in the championship side of the bracket. The losers will play at 4 in the elimination bracket. And then CJ went through, win a game, you move on. You lose 2 games, you're done for good. But Menahga and East Grand Forks and Menahga Braves softball in general here today on 105.9 FM, the Superstation K106, the Superstation K106 app, and WadenaRadio.com, a 1:45 pregame with the 2:00 first pitch Braves and Green Wave this afternoon.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun softball going on, and should also mention, just kind of going around the brackets here, looking in section 6A softball, they have some games going on this afternoon as well. New York Mills, the 2 on this side of section 6A, is going to be hosting Long Prairie Gray Eagle. That's a 5:00 first pitch. 3-seeded Parker's Prairie hosting 6-seeded Frazee, 5:00 first pitch as well. Number 4, Upsala. Number 5, Browerville, 5:00 first pitch in Upsala. Number 1 seeded Swanville hosting the 8-seeded Brandon Evansville. All of that according to the MSHSL website, 5:00 first pitch there as well. And then winners will play tomorrow on Friday, 10 a.m. first pitch right away, and then 11:30 a.m. Just obviously with high school graduations going on Friday, they want to get those games taken care of ASAP in the earlier part of the day there. So we will have coverage of section 6A softball likely on Friday as well for Friday morning. Kind of which teams and which games. Well, obviously it's to be determined because it's single elimination there. So just know that we will have more than likely have section 6A softball on the air Friday morning. Taking a peek over at section 5A softball upon last check, there will be some games this afternoon as well. We'll want to give you an update on Tuesday afternoon. Killier Northholm beats Sabika 12-2. They bounced into the elimination bracket. They're waiting on some games to happen as well, as I'm looking at the bracket at this current juncture. So they're kind of waiting on their next opponent in the elimination bracket, and they're the only local team we have that's still alive in section 5A. And then moving on to section 5A baseball, that's also starting today, because why not just throw another one into this mix, Corey? New York Mills is the 1 seed on the west side. They're hosting the 8-seeded Cass Lake Bena, 5:00 first pitch at Russ Jacobson Field. 4-seeded Walker Hackensack Akeley hosting the 5-seeded Frazee on the west side. Staying on that side, Nevis, 3-seed hosting 6-seeded LaPorte. 2-seeded Sabika hosting Lake Park Audubon. And again, all 5 o'clock first pitches there. If they win, you go on to play on Tuesday afternoon at the high seed. Losers obviously go on home. On the east side of the bracket, the only game that will matter to our local folks, 3-seeded Bertha Hewitt Verndale hosting the 6th-seeded Pine River Bacchus Tigers. That is happening 5 o'clock first pitch in Verndale for that one. So, Corey, as we've said all week, we're in it, but oh boy, is there a lot of stuff going on today.
Yeah, let's go ahead and just get it done with so we can get past Memorial Day and get to the real fun stuff.
The real fun stuff. So there you go. A lot of stuff happening across the listening area. It's really, really fun to see these playoffs come together. I wish we could literally be at every game because it's awesome, but I'm only one guy, Corey. I'm only human, you know?
Yep.
All right, let's talk a little Minnesota Timberwolves to wrap up the show here today. We mentioned in yesterday's show all about game one. So if you want to hear a rehash of game one or what happened and what went wrong, we talked about it in yesterday's show. Go back and listen to that one because we're moving forward. We're throwing it past us. I don't even know what happened in game one. Don't tell me. All I know is that the Wolves are down 0-1 in the series and that they need to win to avoid getting down in an 0-2 hole. Now, we talked about this before the series started. An 0-2 hole for the Timberwolves isn't an impossible one to climb out of, obviously, but it really feels like if the Wolves go down 0-2, they're in a world of hurt here. It's not a must-win game, Corey, but it is just very imperative that the Wolves get out of here with the split.
It is really, really helpful. It's really helpful. I mean, home court advantage is a thing, and like the next two games 3 and 4 are in Minnesota, and win those two games, and all of a sudden you're speaking a different tune. Remember, it wasn't that long ago; it was a year ago, a little over, where Timberwolves went up against Denver. Denver came right back and stormed all the way back, and like it took to a game 7 to figure it out. So like you can fall behind and make it a series. That is not what what's the case. What's important here tonight is how do they handle the pressure that Oklahoma City brings defensively. They're so good on defense. I heard someone, I can't remember who, describe like whose best thing is the best thing in the playoffs, and Oklahoma City's defense is the best thing in the playoffs. You know, is it Oklahoma City's defense? Is it Indiana's offense? Is it Jalen Brunson's clutch time? Like the best thing of all the best things is Oklahoma City's defense. So you kind of got to solve that, and you just kind of got to shoot better. I think, CJ, there's going to be an emotional letdown in game 2 for Oklahoma City as far as the players go. They already won a game. And again, riding that high from the Denver series. Fans are going to be absolutely into it because they are this close to smelling blood in the water. So they just got to, like, they're going to have to navigate. The Timberwolves are like pretty raucous sort of atmosphere from the fans, but I think a more business-like approach from Oklahoma City. They just got to navigate it. They just got to shoot a little better. They just got to be a little more assertive. I'll be honest with you. I felt good about the Timberwolves in game 1, and I was wrong. So I feel good about the Timberwolves in game 2, but I'm less sure than I was the other night.
I think really what game 1 exposed is that the Wolves really, I mean, they're just going to need to step up. Like they just, in all facets of the game, they're going to need to shoot better. They're going to need to almost impose like a 2 dribble limit whenever Naz and Julius want to back the guys down in the post, because I mean, Julius Randle had a turnover at the end of the first half in game 1 that sticks with me because even I could see it. Like he's just taking forever to try and set up his move. And I'm like, somebody's going to come take the ball. Somebody's going to come take the ball. You can't let him take the ball. And Jalen Williams or whatever his name is, J Dub or something like that, comes in, steals the ball. And then the Thunder get 2 free throws with 1.4 seconds to go in the first half. Like you just can't do that. You have to, if you're going to back a guy down, it's 1-2 dribbles, and you got to pick that thing up because somebody's coming to swipe you. Like a quarterback in the pocket, you need to have that internal clock of like 1, 2, 3, ball's got to get out of my hands. And in the same way, you kind of have to have that internal clock of like 1, 2, I need to move or I need to pivot. Like I just can't stand still because somebody's going to be coming to try and take the ball away from me. So overall, I mean, really, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but it's just going to be imperative that the Wolves make the shots that the Thunder are going to allow them to have, because the Thunder are clogging up the lane. They don't want Edwards and Randall to be facilitating. They want the Wolves to be stagnant and shoot a lot of threes and just kind of daring them to do well. Because, in fact, Randall had a really good three-point shooting game, and it didn't even matter, and he really went quiet in the second half. So I think 2 good halves of Julius Randle are going to be important. Anthony Edwards, hopefully his ankle is fine. But ultimately, it's just going to come down to don't turn the ball over and make your open looks. And I think if that's the case, the Wolves defense can keep the Thunder in check enough to kind of make it a game. Like, defensively, the Thunder are great and they're better than the Wolves, but the Wolves are at a good enough level to compete with them. If they can get the Wolves shots to fall and just limit the extra possessions they give OKC, I think it's going to be much better.
We're not asking a lot. It's not like the Timberwolves didn't have good looks in game 1. They did, and shots didn't go in. We're not asking them to like be able to find a way to create something out of nowhere. They got shots. Turns out it's hard to get down the lane when nobody's making shots and you can help that extra step in the lane. So all of a sudden your driving lanes for Anthony Edwards are less available because everything is clogged up just a little bit more. Nas, you come out and make 2 of your first 4, they've got to think about you. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, knock down your first couple. DDV, like, they don't have to shoot lights out. Just shoot average, and all of a sudden that opens everything else up, right? You got to throw the fastball to set up your breaking pitch. You got to run to pass or whatever. Like, the equations work in basketball too. You got to shoot to open up drive lanes, and then opening up drive lanes means passing lanes become open. There's a catch-22 here that if you're not going to shoot better, if you pizza when you're supposed to, if you French fry when you're supposed to pizza, you're going to have a bad time. And that's what game 1 was.
Because what's the most important part? It's having a good time. That's right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, overall, I think with the Wolves, and this is the other thing, too, I get it. The whistle talk is what it is. I don't like, that's not what we need this show to be. But it just exists. You need to be prepared for it. Even Finch, I know everybody wants to bring up the clip of Finch complaining about how you can't touch Shea and all that. That's what he said after a win in overtime in the regular season. After this playoff game, he's like, look, it's a part of the game. We got to like move on. Like, we can't get frustrated by that. He said all the right things.
The players were hung up on it like early. Like they kind of like it. It felt
kind of surprised that it happened almost.
They felt like it was inevitable, and like, okay, good, here we go. Great. This is what we're going to deal with all game long. And right. That's when you're defeated before it even starts. That's tough.
Exactly. So avoid that. And Jaden McDaniels, I mean, he fouled out with like 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And also that's when things really started to unravel as well. Like, Jaden McDaniels is an important part. He's going to get into foul trouble. He's just it's just going to happen. And I'm not saying that every foul is his fault, because there were a couple where, again, Shea just he initiates contact. I can't get over that. He leans into you and then pulls back and flails, and it's somehow your fault. Anyway, I don't know basketball.
Whole thing by saying we're not going to do this. It was fun. I just listened to every sentence of you get a little louder and a little more aggressive. And so it's just a small little tantrum, though. That was good control. Good job.
Every single time. It's the Michael Irvin like bits he goes on when he was on like NFL Network. He's no, I'm not saying, I'm not mad. I'm just saying. That's what it is. But like,
important though, CJ, too, you mentioned Jaden. Like, Jaden is a tall task defensively. He's been great offensively throughout the playoffs so far.
Mm-hmm.
It is a necessity that you don't ask as much out of him offensively in this series. It's a necessity. It's a necessity that Nas and Naw and DDV make their shots, so that way Jaden doesn't also have to feel the burden of, I need to score 23 points tonight too.
Exactly. So overall, this is just going to come down to just play smart basketball, please. Just do the things you need to do. Make your shots. The OKC is good and they're talented, but they're by no means this unbeatable juggernaut of a team.
They just got taken to 7 games by Denver.
This is not the 2016-17 Warriors here. Like, this is a beatable team. you can put up a fight against them. And I think the Wolves will. They went 2-2 against OKC in the regular season.
Do it. So put up a fight.
Put up a fight. And I think the Wolves do. The Wolves have, hey, I know it's a small sample size, but after every loss, the Wolves have bounced back to win. Like, they have not lost 2 in a row in this postseason. So it has been important for this team that and those games coming off of losses, they've looked much better. So I think overall it will be important for the Wolves to come out and have that. And I think that they're capable of it. So this team always does well when everyone counts them out. And everybody is talking about Shea's whistle, but everybody's also talking about how the Thunder are like on a collision course with the Larry O'Brien trophy. So now is the time for the Wolves to steal a game, go back to Target Center, and see what happens and figure it out. The longer this series goes on, too, I think it benefits the Wolves because even though the Thunder are in it and they're in the rhythm of playing basketball, they had to play a Game 7 series. The Wolves didn't, and they didn't have to do it in Game 1. Like, overall, I think the more this grinds out, the more it'll also help the Wolves. That being said, both teams are also young and athletic, so it's not as big of a deal as playing a LeBron or Draymond, Jimmy, Steph-led team, but still, grind them in the dust with you. And the thing about the Thunder that they do really well, by the way, is, again, they just grind you to dust offensively. They put you in the meat grind, or defensively, they put you in the meat grinder with them, and you saw it happen more and more over the course of the Wolves game. If the Wolves have a run where the Thunder aren't playing very well, they do need to take advantage of it. Yesterday, they had their moments, on Tuesday, days are hard. On Tuesday, they had their advantage, but I think it was Kendrick Perkins who was at halftime was like, yeah, I mean, the Wolves played good, but they're only up 4 and the Thunder played bad and they're only down 4. So that's probably a good sign for the Thunder, and to put it bluntly. And that's, again, if the Thunder are going to have a slow first half, you can't just be up by 4 because they're going to figure things out and they're going to turn it on. You have to take advantage. And when you're on a run, you have to maximize it. So anyway, long-winded way of saying Wolves in 5 anyways. So Wolves in 5 till it ain't.
Wow. Let's go Wolves. I think the Wolves win.
Awoo, in parentheses, Wolf Howl. Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. See ya later.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch every show on YouTube.